The time is 12 o'clock, and here's the media news. First, the top stories. 17 PDP supporters arraigned in court over takeover of the state secretariat. Methodist primate advocates renegotiation of Nigeria's unity. 3 million kids targeted in 2017 and 2018 immunization against measles. Security forces of Boko Haram in heavy fighting in Gulag, Adamawa State. Saudi says arrest of princes, ministers is just takeoff of anti-corruption drive. Mass arrest in Mozambique over rumor of vampires. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing you the news in details shortly. 17 supporters of the group McCarthy PDP State Executive Committee have been arraigned before an Abeokuta Magistrate Court for allegedly taking over the party's state secretariat in Abeokuta. The supporters were arrested at the secretariat by armed policemen who intervened after officials and supporters of the Bayo-Dayo-led State Executive Committee were chased out of the palace of the place by suspected thugs. At the court proceeded on Tuesday, the 17 suspects were arraigned over a three-count charge, including the contempt of court and breach of public peace. Each of them granted bail by the court in the sum of 100,000 naira and a surety who owns property in Abeokuta, while further hearing of the case will come up on December 15. Meanwhile, armed policemen have ejected the new Ogun State PDP Executive Committee installed by the PDP National Caretaker Committee from the party secretariat at Okemoso in Abeokuta. The police moved in after the new executive committee, headed by Alhaji Sekurullah Mudele, chased the Bayo-Dayo-led State Executive Committee from the secretariat earlier on Monday. Before the arrival of the police, suspected party thugs had chased out Bayo-Dayo-led executive staff and officials met at the secretariat to pave the way for its takeover by the Ogundele State Executive Committee. Ogundele, addressing newsmen at the party state secretariat after the takeover, says they were acting on instruction from the PDP National Caretaker Committee in Abuja.
Including Abuja, any court that anybody is willing to go now.
Ogun State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has commenced the sale of hard screening forms to intended pilgrims to the 2018 Holy Pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. The board's executive secretary, Alhaji Abdulhakeem Kalejai, in a statement, says the hard screening form is on sale at 1,000 naira until December 15, 2017. Kalejai asked all the intended pilgrims to obtain a 10,000 naira application form with effect from January 2, 2018, while they expected to pay a deposit of 1 million naira at not more than 4 installments before January 31, 2018. Intended pilgrims are also to pay 4,500 naira and 4,000 naira for laboratory tests and insurance fee by January 31, 2018. He urged all Muslims willing to participate in the Hajj operations to visit the finance and accounting department of the board to inquire about the mode of payment to the banks. The primate of the Methodist Church in Nigeria, Dr. Chukwuemeka Uche, has joined the call for the renegotiations of the country. The primate alleged fears in some quarters that a proposed renegotiation will lead to the breakup of Nigeria. Uche, speaking to newsmen in Ibadan, explained that the Nigeria that will emerge from the proposed renegotiation will have federating units that will be stronger than the federal government. Under the arrangement, the Methodist primate says the federal government will retain only powers to control the police, immigration, the army, and other security agencies as in the First Republic. The components, according to him, will contribute resources to maintain the center. Taraba State government is set to join Benue State in banning open grazing of cattle to stop bloody clashes between farmers and herdsmen in the state. The proposed ban will come into effect as from January 2018. Governor Darius Ishaku made this known while speaking to State House correspondents after meeting with President Muhammad Buhari at the presidential villa Abuja. The governor says he had already signed the Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Bill last July to give a legal backing to the proposed ban of open grazing of cattle. Ishaku says he urged Buhari to return troops deployed from the state to address security challenges facing the country. An estimated 33 million children aged 9 months to 59 months are to be immunized during the 2017 and 2018 national immunization against measles. The exercise is to be flagged off on Tuesday next week by the Health Minister of State, Dr. Osage Hanire, in Kaduna. The campaign taken off November 9 in the north and will be extended to the southwest, south-south, and southeast regions as from March 20, 2018. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says the target of 2017 and 18 campaign is 95% against 84.5% attained in 2015. The vaccination, according to the agency, will be carried out in churches, mosques, public places, health centers, water parks, schools, and homes. Italian prosecutors are investigating the death of 26 Nigerian women, most of them teenagers, whose bodies were recovered at sea. There are suspicions that they may have been sexually abused and murdered as they attempted to cross the Mediterranean Sea. 5 migrants have been questioned in the southern part of Saleno. A Spanish warship, Catambria, docked there, carrying 375 migrants and the dead women following several rescues. 23 of the dead women had been on rubber boats with 64 other people. Italian media reports that the women's bodies are being kept in the refrigerated section of the warship. Most of them were aged 14 to 18. Most of the 375 survivors brought to Salerno were sub-Saharan Africans from Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, the Gambia, and Sudan. The Daily La Repubblica reports. Among them were 90 women, 8 of them pregnant, and 52 children. Security forces and Boko Haram forces have engaged in heavy fighting in Adamawa State. The fighting began Friday night for an attempt by Boko Haram forces to capture Gulak in the Madagali local government area of Adamawa State. The resident fled Gulak amidst heavy gunshots and explosions while the fighting raged in the town. Troops reinforcement was dispatched to repel the Boko Haram fighters. Also, Boko Haram fighters had attacked Jadanab in the Magonen local government area of Borno State. Secretary to the local government, Wakil Otawu, says the terrorists during the attack on Friday night killed 6 people and set houses, livestock, and food items ablaze. In another development, male suicide bombers have died in an attack on a house in Silada village in the Madagali local government area of Adamawa State. The bombers killed 2 persons, an elderly woman and her son, while detonated explosives strapped to their bodies. The loud explosion on Sunday night from the bomb attack caused panic in Gulak, which is under curfew. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next will be your foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. Saudi Arabia government says the arrest of dozens of Saudi royal figures, ministers, and businessmen is just the start of an anti-corruption drive by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Attorney General Sheikh Saud Al Mujahid, in a statement, described the detentions as merely the start of a battle process to root out corruption wherever it exists. An anti-corruption body led by the Crown Prince, 32 years, ordered the detentions of 11 princes, 4 ministers, and dozens of ex-ministers. Internationally known billionaire businessman Prince Al-Walid bin Talal was reported to be among those held. US President Donald Trump backed the move by the Saudi authorities, saying he has great confidence in King Salman and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia on what they are doing. 8 people have been arrested in Mozambique for allegedly spreading rumors which almost led to 2 people accused of protecting vampires being lynched. Police in Kwamba district in the country's northernmost province of Niassa said it was only their swift actions which saved the 2 intended victims. As a result of the violence, Niassa provincial governor Alindo Chilundo has been forced to deny there are any such things as vampires. The vampires, he said, were no more than a fiction invented by people who want to use rumors to destabilize communities. Similar rumors have led to the death of at least 8 people in neighboring Malawi and the arrest of more than 140 people involved in lynch mobs. In business, Ogun State government, in partnership with a private firm, is considering introduction of new measurement bowls for rice, beans, gari, and yam flour at the various markets. The measuring bowl, which is of different sizes, are designed to standardize the measurement of foodstuff. Commerce and Industry Commissioner Tobi Ashiru, speaking on the sidelines of a meeting with market leaders in Abeokuta, explains that the idea is to ensure standard measurement is to protect the interests of traders and consumers in the state. Ashiru says the full modalities are being worked out with market leaders across the four divisions of Egba, Yewa, Ijebu, and Remo before the formal introduction of the measurement bowl in the market. The Yalaji of Akile Ijebu, Yalode Fonsat Alatishe, describes the proposed measurement bowl as a welcome development, saying it will be to the advantage of both the traders and consumers. She, however, cautioned against forcing the proposed measuring bowl on traders. Finally, on the media news, sport news. Coach Ladan Bosso has officially been unveiled as FC Ifeanyiba new manager. The former El Kanemi Warriors coach was unveiled on Monday in Navy ahead of the 2018 and 18 and 17 and 18 NPFL season. Anambra Warriors Club chairman Chukuma Uba presented Bosso to the press at a colorful unveiling ceremony at the FC Ifeanyiba clubhouse. Bosso, in his first press conference, said it is an honor to work at FC Ifeanyiba. Former Super Eagles defender Michael Emenalo has resigned his role as technical director at Chelsea FC. Emenalo has brought his 10-year association with the West London club to an end, amid reports of tension sizzling between the club's hierarchy and manager Antonio Conte. Since joining the Blues in 2007 as an opposition scout for Aaron Grant, Emenalo rose through the ranks quickly and has been one of the trusted advisors and friends of owner Roman Ibrahimovic. He made 14 appearances for the Super Eagles, the USA 94 World Cup inclusive. That was the media news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. 17 PDP supporters arraigned in court over takeover of Ogun State Secretariat. Methodist primate advocates a renegotiation of Nigeria's unity. 3 million kids targeted in 2017 and 18 immunization against measles. Security forces of Boko Haram in heavy fighting in Gunak, Adamawa State. Saudi says arrest of princes ministers is just takeoff of anti-corruption drive. Mass arrest in Mozambique over rumor of vampires. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcitfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good afternoon.